Hello, Will Thundertalks here with another video. Good to see you. Good to see you come in right here. Hello. Today I'm going to reflect on a little question. We're going to go with, how does stress affect you? So I thought this would be an interesting one to think about today, considering there's been a sizable amount of stress in my recent time being a human on this planet, doing the things that we all do. Fixing my car, trying to grow my practice, trying to do schoolwork, working full time, all this stuff. A lot of things I do, a lot of things I try and do. So how does stress affect me? Stress, I think, makes me a little more impulsive. I think stress builds up to a certain point where I have these, and it's actually quite an interesting indicator for me. It's a helpful indicator to my well-being. Like if I'm constantly having thoughts of trying to get away, trying to escape, trying to leave, I'm usually pretty overwhelmed at that point. So at that point, I try and think about that a little more. I try and think, okay, so what am I overwhelmed about? I think a cycle of stress that I go through, you might say, is I have an idea of a thing I want to do. I start making plans towards it. I start researching it obsessively. Then I move towards it in some ways and commit to aspects of it out of excitement. And then I find that really challenging to maintain as kind of the initial excitement kind of tapers off. And then it's kind of an obligation I've got, like a commitment that I've made. So then it's like another thing I need to maintain and do, right? And if any of you can relate to that, I'd love to hear that in the comments. But it's stressful, right? It's things we have to do, and for me in my life anyway, that's accumulated more as I've gotten older. That I've had more responsibilities regularly, and I'm doing more, and in ways that's built me up and improved my ability to do more, which then feels validating. So I continue on this path of doing. And I think a lot of people would perhaps go, wow, well, that's impressive that you do a lot of things. But it also kind of has a cost, right? Because I guess when I think of stress, I think stress is kind of like a momentum experience feeling. And that's useful in short bursts, but when we're constantly flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, that can lead to chronic stress, that can lead to a lot of health challenges, a lot of health problems. So I do intentionally try to shoehorn in some time where I can kind of be mentally chill and not be learning about things, not be thinking about things, because I think that balance is really important, which is why I think a lot about how stress affects me, because if I lose track of that, then I'll fall into some unconscious negative patterns I've had previously, like eating too much food, or not going to the gym, or hiding in video game addiction, or lots of other things, I guess, porn use, etc. And it makes it challenging for me to feel like I can engage with the world. I feel a bit withdrawn as the stress builds up. And I try and really be aware of that withdrawal as it's coming up, because as I withdraw more, then I get less support, which makes me more stressed. And I feel like I'm on my own little island where no one can understand me. So I pull away from relationships and nobody sees me, and I just go off and do the things I have to do over and over in a loop until I spontaneously combust internally or have a bit of a mental break, and then go back to therapy or do something extreme like change jobs, because I've changed jobs several times throughout my career. 2 or 3 years seems to be about the limit in most jobs. So I guess I felt adaptable in that case, and I think that's part of the challenge I face with stress, that I get to a certain point of stress that turns into burnout, that turns into me leaving. And I didn't choose to leave my previous job because I felt like I got better at managing that, though I still had a fair amount of stress and burnout. But I find change helps me feel relieved from stress, interestingly, which I think for a lot of people, maybe they don't feel the same. I certainly do. I feel like change gives an opportunity for some kind of new, and new can be interesting, and interesting can justify the stress load that's on my shoulders. Some people like that, some people don't. I certainly do. I like a bit of different. It keeps my brain stimulated, keeps me feeling like I'm moving in a direction and doing something meaningful. So these days I try and manage that by journaling a bunch. I've got my journal right here. Nice little journal. Writing all kinds of stuff. Probably can't see that very well, but I'm writing all the time. Writing all kinds. Just jotting my thoughts down as and when I can. These days I'm a little busier, so I don't get to every day, if I'm honest with myself. It's more like every other day, maybe every 3 days. But stress, I think something about stress, it's really important to understand that it's actually evolutionarily like there for a reason. It helps you, it helps me. Stress helps me focus in, prioritize, do what needs to be done in a timely manner. But it shouldn't be around all the time. And I think I really think about kind of what are my fundamental needs when I think about stress, because I think stress is kind of like I don't know if you guys ever played Need for Speed Underground. Absolute banger game. Nitros, I always think of the Nitros. Stress is like the Nitros. It makes you go faster, but in short bursts, because your car will burn if you stress too long. So I have to keep my Nitros levels managed, I guess is the way I'm thinking about it. Not use Nitros all the time. Sometimes I need to stop. But it does also make me less consistent when I don't manage my stress appropriately in my friendships and in community activities and in social things I like to do. Unfortunately, that has me pull away and do less of those things, which then produces downward spirals of stress, I guess. The stress levels go up, downward spiral of well-being, and I guess more recently I'm feeling less of that because physically I'm improving, so I have more energy. There's like upward forces that are positive because I'm losing weight and feeling healthier and stronger, that are maybe masking some stress I'm accumulating. But I think it's good to have balancing elements, I guess. I think it's good to do things that push you in different ways and help you feel meaning in different ways. I guess something I've really learned when I think about how stress affects me is how, for me, I need variety. I can't just do the same thing over and over again, because for me that accumulates additional stress because I become more disengaged the more I just do the same thing over and over. So I do a wide range of things. I run a business, I have a full-time job as well, I make this YouTube stuff, I volunteer as a counsellor at a counselling agency, I go to college and I do school and essays, I learn about whatever interests me in the moment. At the moment it's peptides because I'm on Mounjaro, so I was curious to understand what other kind of peptides are out there, what even are peptides, what they're about, peptides versus steroids, etc. So I let my natural interest kind of follow me, and I study stuff to give my brain something different to chew on, to help my brain bend around a new approach, idea, and way of being. Which is one of the reasons I kind of like these videos, because I get to kind of talk about what I want, because it's my channel, and it helps me manage my stress because I'm kind of venting to you guys, but also niching down's hard for me because I like a variety of things, but that's how stress affects me. I'm going to leave that there for today. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. Good luck, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.